So I'm still going to be coughing, but I feel immensely better, and we're going to talk about a few things. 3 things mainly. I think AI stuff, because it's kind of prevalent. Current announcements in the gaming sphere, which is a more fun note, as we see Cthulhu Cult character exclusive Kana. But we're going to do 3 custom mysteries, because we're playing as Aiko today, if the thumbnail wasn't any indicator. And then I forgot what the 3rd thing was. I guess just maybe my health, just a little bit, but... like I just said, feeling better is I'm coughing because around this time, no matter if it's cold or hot, I just get congested easily, so I mean, there's not much I can do about that. I completely forgot my backstory, so I'm just going to pick something else instead. Probably something harder. So, Knight Errant character exclusive. I'm just trying to remember it. I feel like it was Colt, but I'm just going to make things harder on myself. So, Knight Errant instead. And I even forgot the god because I was just so confused. Oh, Cthulhu. That I remember. But as we actually get into Cthulhu Knight Errant character exclusive random item Aiko, I added a few custom events, and yeah, we'll get into it. So 3 things to talk about: AI stuff, thingy-majiggies, and announcements. Hey, Toby, Fox, and Deltarune. But among other things, that was the one that stood out to me: knowledge, charisma, Takushi-san, second encounter, second mystery, and maybe a strength check. And then, I guess, health stuff, but I feel like there was something else I wanted to talk about, aside from just game dev stuff, which, like I said, I was just so not in the mood, because even if I'm not in the mood, I'm still working on stuff. I mean, that's just how life goes, but, yeah, I feel better. You're just gonna hear me cough every now and then, especially in, video format. That's all I can really say at the moment. So... but yeah, the first thing to really talk about is AI stuff, because AI is and it's kind of relevant to me. I won't say to this channel, because if I haven't mentioned it before, and if it sounds like I changed my stance, let me just re-clarify my stance. I don't really mind AI use. I do understand the ethical complications, and there's a lot I could say on that, but that's too much nuance for one video. Coma, Arms, No Kana Frogs, Colt, and Story. We'll take Arms now. But as it relates more to me, if I do anything with AI, the short version is, I'll just say it outright, not using AI is not putting food on the table, pretty much directly, indirectly. So, it's nice, and I do know people who are artists, friends of friends, heck, I even won a small tournament back in the day where I was gifted a piece of artwork by an artist. So I do, like, I never will look down on an artist's work, but at the same time, I will never look down on the work that people who go into programming AI, and I don't mean AI generated stuff, just AI in general, but in this case, I'm not trying to be a coward here. We're talking about AI generation. Now, obviously, that there are a lot of bad things, like if in the future, if some big law comes out, I also need a weapon, by the way. And Aiko's plush toy. But if some big law comes out that essentially legally bans the use of AI generation, then sure, like that, I can see that. I wouldn't exactly agree, but I can see it as a possibility. Now, is it very, very possible? I'm not sure. Also, we didn't get a single weapon here. A 6 damage army knife, by the way. But yeah, if that causes people to leave my channel and stop supporting me, I mean, I'm trying to be as reasonable as possible here. And the reality that, at least that I see in my eyes, maybe other people's realities are not the same, but from what I can see, yeah, it's just not, yeah, people are losing their jobs to AI, that is not great, but at the same time, other people are also, like, as I move into my next part of this topic, it's actually better for, yeah, I'll just say it. It's better for me to use AI than not, and I know this because I'm not going to tell you what projects I worked on, but I did 2 separate projects. One where I did, essentially, I'm not going to say specifically what I did, but the most important thing is that in one project I did not use AI, and in another I used AI generation, whether that's for images, whether that's for music. Definitely not for story. I feel confident enough in my writing to not generate AI text, basically. But definitely in the places that I'm weakest, like audio, like images. And to that extent, there are things that you can do, so it's not even certain things, but I did it as a test, essentially, if you get my point. And I experienced a more than 10 times... what's the correct word? Support for that AI generated project than the non-AI generated project, which, again, if you want to argue the ethics of it, I do agree with both sides. On the side of an artist who does not like AI generation, for good, again, and they're valid to believe so. I forgot where I was going because I was looking at what I got for the library notes here, but I do agree with the not, obviously, because essentially you are breaking terms and stuff. Oh my goodness, this mangled hand. In that you shouldn't use an artist's work for AI generation if they have not explicitly said that you can do so. I'm not going to say the negative because the negative can be loopholed. And by that I mean, please do not use my works for AI generation, which is something that you should legally follow. But and when I say that I used AI generation for a project, I mean that in the way that it's all, again, it was a legal use, protected by binding terms and from what I believe legal uses. But again, if anything was that would be like going to follow and using something through Google search or Google as an example here, theoretically, and them finding the use there to be illegal unless you missed a law or something. But that goes into that goes into laws, and I'm not a lawyer. But I do agree with the fact that, yeah, you shouldn't pull an artist's work for AI generation use. On the flip side of that, for those who have, how should I say, allow things to be generated by AI, whether it's music, whether it's art, whether it's writing, whether it's otherwise, there is not a precedent. I'm looking for the correct phrase because I don't want to just muddy the waters by saying something completely different. Also, we're eating a bunch of damage here, but we just have to take it in the face. I could flush toy putting in work. Also, I did see that custom enemies are not affected by difficulty, but they're affected by other things. Funny to say that Skeptic does not decrease damage dealt by custom enemies, but hey. I had a point. I really should write notes down and just look over to the notes, but I forgot. But essentially, there is good and hard work put into the production of, I guess, of AI, just in general. And I think there are good applications of it. I can't say them to you, so that sounds like I'm just talking out of thin air, but if nothing else, the very practical use, and like I said, my use case of actually, making two different projects is not great. Or is not like again, nearly at 10 times support. And, the numbers aren't that big, but again, as I've said, so, and we'll just say it outright, Liar's Bar is a game that is out on Steam that has sold relatively well, and it used AI-generated voices. Some people probably picked it up, but that's after they likely played the game for a moment and went, hey, this voice sounds kind of AI generated. And some people may have refunded it, but it's still like it got its time in the limelight, and people are still playing from what I know to this day. If that's not true, please let me know. But oh goodness, hold on. Oh, coughing. I also didn't level up for whatever reason, but we're gonna gamble here and see what happens. And yeah, I'll keep repeating this because it's kind of important. If that causes people to stop supporting me for whatever reason, like I don't know what to say, because I don't believe I'm being too extreme in either way. Because again, I realize the value of both sides. Obviously, you want artists who put in the work to do something. I don't know if anyone saw the recent Miyazaki stuff, but that's a no-go. That's a minus to AI. But that is not a reason to wipe AI off the map, I guess, if that makes any sense. And then I know this because I even have personally seen educational uses of AI, like actually like AI, just AI searching in general, which I don't agree with on that front, but I've seen it with my own two eyes. I like walking around, people, basically if I look up, and I hardly go outside, but I see people like looking up things that you probably shouldn't be searching AI based. Like you should actually be going to seek the professional who can give such knowledge. For example, medical knowledge, obviously, but AI isn't perfect. But that's not a reason to kick it down the street, because there are good applicational uses of it. And again, the bare minimum, because I can't think of a good example at the moment, and again, it sounds like I'm talking out of thin air, but Oh shoot, I'm concentrating on not dying to this ghost. But there is a very pragmatic use in business, and I'll keep saying this because it is, we're seeing it, people are actually losing their jobs because of it. And I guess the only, if we're to play a weird kind of devil's advocate at the moment, can we even run? We can, right? Yeah, Cthulhu. So we might actually want to take that, but I'm actually going to heal stamina instead. I know I have the painkillers, but it's not enough. Okay, I think I'm going to remember what I was supposed to say here. Or what I was thinking of saying. That's not the correct phrase. I do have the inspiring novel. I should have popped the inspiring novel here, of all places, actually, but because I already didn't. Hold on, let me just concentrate on not dying. I probably should have popped the inspiring novel. Gosh dang it, me. It's a good thing I took fast swimmer, though. We're just going to roll the dice here. Oh yeah, so the weird kind of devil's advocate is, so if you say you are an artist who desperately despises AI, I'm not saying to be cohesive and live with AI, but if nothing else, you should try to, funny enough, it sounds weird, but use AI to further yourself, if that makes any sense. And I'm not saying use it in your own artwork, but I'm saying kind of, basically in a conceptual form, theoretical form, understanding your enemy, so that you can better yourself, whether that's business-wise, whether that's personal, so on and so forth. An example, I guess an example that I can use, that I've used for myself, again, for my AI project, is that look at what AI would generate or, like, enhance for your own artwork as a very, very, very practical example, and see what it does, and see how you can improve on it, on what it generates, so that you understand its limitations and can, if for no other reason, talk about this professionally, explain the downfalls or like the pitfalls of AI artwork. That's one very specific form. In my case, let me just make sure I'm not dying here. I forgot my second encounter, by the way, but hopefully it's fine. One more thing, I need to use the inspiring novel in the last mystery, but in my case, it's very, like, if you want to be, I'm not saying I'm doing this, although I can't really prove it. All you can do is take me at my word. Hopefully you believe me. But, so, it's really, if someone want to be devious, and this would be breaking law, like, probably breaking laws here and there, but you shouldn't do this. It's to the point where if you are an artist, you could probably get away with changes in AI artwork and passing them off as your own art. Now, obviously, at a certain point, if you're under the eye of another artist, they'll point you out. And thank goodness we actually still have artists who are willing to do that, despite all the bad flack that artists are getting here and there due to, let's just say, people who may not be artists trying to speak up for artists, which I don't like that. There are other parts of life. We know what those other parts of life, if you've been looking at things. Oh, that's right. We're on Night Errant. I thought I was on Ill-Fated. We're on Night Errant, but it doesn't matter because we're Ico. So our doom indirectly is lower. Anyway, we'll pop the. I think that if we pop the inspiring novel during the apartment, we're still okay. Okay. Continuing on the topic. And again, I like to repeat, if you want to stop supporting me because of my views here, then I mean, I don't know what to say. I feel like I'm trying to be, but if nothing else, maybe you can persuade me to believe one or the other way. That don't let it be said I don't try to open my view, because I'm not someone who's, I would like to say I'm still stubborn to some point, but I'm still much more malleable in the way of that I feel like I can still be persuaded. So if I am blind to certain things, whether on AI or, you know, the preservation, well, not preservation, but the integrity of art, feel free to try and persuade me one way or the other. Just that I'm telling you my experiences so you understand at least where I'm coming from. And again, the most prevalent, or the most, I keep saying prevalent like that word always applies, it's not, but the most important part of this is that, yeah, I've done 2 separate projects, and the one that I use AI art for, or music, or otherwise, it was AI art, but then I also tried other stuff. Yeah, it did a lot better than the non-AI art project. And you've seen what kind of art I make, and it's not just bunny. It's closer to Komi art, and that's all I'll say without the robots hurting me. Really quickly, when I say robots hurting me, I don't mean I mean mistaken uses of robots, in this case probably AI, funny enough, to counteract my support of AI to any length and degree. But it's probably the AI used on platforms to incorrectly hurt channels, I guess, on this platform is the best way I can say it. So, shrug, but there was something else I was supposed to talk about, but this run was so fast, question mark, because I was Ico that I didn't even notice. Also, we'll take a peek at the lighthouse first before we go in. And I completely didn't talk about the second part, which was I completely forgot because I was so heated. Oh, announcements. Yeah, Switch 2 in June. We'll see what happens. But I am celebrating, funny enough, on that note, on projects that probably, most likely, did not use any AI at all. But it is the hard work of human beings also. So we do need some reason. We don't need a light source, thankfully, for better or worse. But we are at pretty much 89% doom. So we will see what happens here. But we do need to heal reason, otherwise we end up dying here. No, actually we didn't, because this only takes away 2 reason. I'm going absolutely insane. But we have 8 strength, 8 reason, 8 strength, 8 dexterity anyway. Oh my goodness. We don't have 8 reason. If we did, we'd be better. Although I really should have talked about announcements. Yeah, it costs a lot for me. I essentially do not have the resources to get a Switch 2 at the moment, but so again, I can't laugh as hard as I can, because if I try doing that, as you just heard right now, I'm coughing. Maybe it's karma for supporting AI at any length, but in any case, yeah, we'll do our best. So, we can immediately do a desperate prep handcuff play. I probably should have even rested here, but I think we should be fine. Nope. Because my hand-eye coordination and the movement here, I really hope this recording makes it out. But yeah, I'm excited for the games coming out. Now, I won't be able to play those games, but yeah. So, I'm pretty sure it was something in Ringu, because I didn't fight really anything in Arms. I know I fought the Twisted Corpse, but I forgot who was first. Cultist? Nope. I want to laugh here, but yeah, my coughing. It was Ringu. No, it wasn't. I'm going crazy, but we're Ico, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, without further ado, again, if you have anything to say, you know what to do. As a last this really should have taken more time. Maybe I'll talk about it later, but I've literally seen a community get split in half because someone, like literally a newcomer, decided to jump into the community and talk about AI, and that literally like destroyed a part of this community. So like, shrug. But yeah, without further ado, again, if you have anything to say, feel free. I know this is a heated topic because, well, for good reason. And I do think both sides have valid points to them, but again, I've given my own experience. If you have anything to say about it, sure. I will not say, if you are going to ask the question, I will not say the project that I've worked on, and I will not say if they're done itch.io, but I did, as I let slip, I did use AI-generated art, and I essentially, as you've heard me talk about before, I've essentially made corrections, because you can't just, like, let's just say, oh, that's what I was supposed to, oh yeah, so I guess this will be timestamped for, like, a good 30 seconds, but, at least, but, you do have to do more on it. You can't just slap, in my experience, AI art on a project and be good, because there are parts of it that, it's really, really obvious, not just that you're using AI art, but that things will be off. The human eye is, can be fooled for some people, but on a, like, if you have someone playing a game, like in my project, they're going to look at something long enough, whether it's a scene, a character, otherwise, and they're going to notice something's a little off. So that's why you have to do things yourself. So it's not a walk in the park, but that's not an excuse to go crazy with doing illegal things with AI art generation, if even that, and music, because music can be generated. Obviously, writing can be generated, but again, that's a thing. And then obviously, you have to be upfront about the use of AI in a project. That way, if sure, it may result in a loss of audience, but if you're basically a one-man developer like I am, having, this isn't the exact number, but having 1,000 people support something over only getting 100, because I said 10 times the amount, is a significant thing. Is a significant increase in the people interested in the thing. But again, like I said, if this causes people to, hate me, I understand. It's a very visible and heated topic for a good reason. But yeah, without further ado, if nothing else though, if you still want to support me, I'm very much thankful, humbled, and obliged to receive support. Otherwise, I will see you when I see you. At least any games that I put out on this channel that I've made myself will not be, will not have the use of AI in any format. So, again, you just have to take me at my word, really, because that's all you're hearing from me. But when I release my projects, whether they're small or big or, you know, ongoing projects, it is what it is. So yeah, without further ado, I won't take up much more of your time. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Bye!